What is up, everybody? Mixing some inks tonight. I got to print an order that has some custom Pantone colors, so mixing some inks to get ready for that. Just did a video for this, and I'm going to edit that and try and get that out soon. So if that's something you would like to see, hopefully it'll be ready soon. Let's give it a minute and see if anybody joins here. Hello there. We have 1, 2. All right. Say hey in the chat. Is it Kristen or Christian? I don't know. I'm from Southeast Tennessee. I don't pronounce things very well. Welcome in. Just mixing some inks. A quick color. Mixing some inks using the Fusion mixing system from Green Galaxy. I use, as you guys know, may or may not know, I use water-based inks only. And I like to use the Green Galaxy inks. It's all I've ever used. So it's not to say that others aren't good out there, but again, it's all I've ever used, so that's what I'm using. And that's the kit that I have. So, all right. I'm going to mix one here that's 4655U. Mixing water-based inks, it's always going to be uncoated. So when you mix, when you're looking at Pantone swatches, you're not going to look at the Pantone solid coated. You're going to look at the Pantone solid uncoated. Got my clear core and opaque core, both of those necessary when you're mixing ink. Let me grab my container. Let me know if you're in the chat, where you're from, where you're watching from, whether you print with water-based inks, questions you might have, whatever. I'm here to chat. Let me get another thing up here. How would you cure water-based and discharge in a bind? Well, I don't have a dryer, so I guess you could say I'm always in a bind, if that's the case. So I just use a flash. I use a flash and I use warp drive. So I add the warp drive to the ink and I cure with a flash. If you're doing discharge, it's good to have a fan blowing low speed, even if it has to be from a distance across the room. You have that fan blowing right at the level of your flash, right at your platen, and have the flash pretty good distance off of the shirt. I mean, you can kind of, with the fan blowing over it, you can probably get a little closer, but that's going to give you that forced air effect. And so it's going to keep some air moving across the shirt, and that's going to prevent it from being as likely to burn or scorch. And you're going to be able to get enough heat over a long enough period of time to activate that discharge. So I would highly recommend doing that. But again, I use a low cure catalyst, and for Green Galaxy, it's that warp drive. So, and that works great for me. Great question. Central Texas. Never been to Central Texas, but I would like to because I love barbecue. All right, I need 123.4 grams of clear core. You don't have to be super precise with this stuff. I mean, it's as close as you can. You know, within a tenth of a gram is usually fine. 123. 117. Oh, a little much. That's why I like to use these cards, because I can dip it back out. All right, I'm going to set this over on the side so that I can use it for my next colors. All right, opaque core, 70.82 grams. Quick color, what kind of dryer do you have? Is it a big one, little one, Riley Hopkins, something else? What about a heat press? Would that also work? I honestly don't know. I mean, it'd be worth a try. But I honestly don't know the answer to that. I know you could use a heat press to cure water-based ink, but I don't know if it would effectively do the discharge or not. I mean, I would think so, but I really don't know. It's a good question. What do I need? 70.82. Yep, I knew that was going to be too much. Again, scooping back out. That'll work. Delco Digicure. Three-phase to 220 single phase. Yep, that'll do it. Power limitations are why I don't have a dryer. So, oh, nice. All right. Yeah, that's why I don't have a dryer. So, is because I don't have the power that I would need to run one down here. I mean, the flash works fine. Excuse me. I wish I could do the forced air flash from Ryanette or Riley Hopkins, but again, it also takes a 220. And I can't. I don't own this house, so I can't make those types of alterations. I mean, I could, but I just haven't invested the money into it because I don't own it. So someday. All right, I need yellow, red, black, and white. Yellow, red, black. I think white's still on the table. It is. Okay, let's start with the light color. Start with yellow, 1.76 grams. Oh, went a little high. When I go over a little bit, I like to just let the pigment down to the bottom of the bottle, squeeze it in a little bit to cause a suction, tip it up and suck a little bit of that back up into it. Doesn't always work. Sometimes I just take a t-shirt or a card and just dip little bits of ink out or pigment. Don't need much more, but I'm going to go ahead and yellow's almost running out. Ah, too much. That's probably good enough. 0.75, there we go. That's close enough. Yeah. Yeah, because you're doing discharge. I mean, you need to give that discharge enough time to fully discharge the entire area of the print. But when I'm printing and curing with just a flash, I'm probably going to print here in a little while. I know it's getting late, but I'm probably going to go ahead and print tonight. So if you want to hang around, you'll see me printing and you'll see how I cure it. But with the low cure stuff, it only has the ink has to get to like 260, 250, 270, somewhere in that range. And then it will, so it's really just dry to the touch. And I mean, it's pretty dry because the flash gets it pretty hot. I mean, the shirts usually get to, 310, but it doesn't have to stay there like it normally would with a dryer. Because this low cure catalyst, it just has to reach the temperature. That activates the catalyst, which then chemically cures the ink over the next 24 to 48 hours. So I normally tell my customers, hey, don't wash these shirts for 24 to 48 hours unless I've completed them and they're not getting them for a couple of days. Like maybe I'm shipping it or something, then I just don't tell them anything. But in that case, it doesn't really slow down my process. I mean, I'm printing, get it ready, push over to the next. You just have to pull the shirt off the platen and let it cure all the way underneath the print. But other than that, it doesn't really slow me down. It's not like a long period of time like it is going through a dryer. It's just, probably 20, 30 seconds, and it's fine. But discharge is a different animal. You got to give that enough time. I mean, you got to give that enough time for that to fully discharge throughout all of the pigments of the shirt. So that you have to do a little bit longer. When I'm not doing discharge, I very rarely put a fan over it to give that forced air effect. I do that a lot with hoodies because those get hot so quick. Yeah, yeah, you would. Yeah, I agree with that. You would think. I really, with the guys at Green Galaxy and Ryan Ed, I don't know who's really in charge of what, but Ryan had spent so much time making the plastisol inks better with the F and ink line, and it's great, rightfully so. I mean, it's the popular ink, and it's what most shops use. But those of us that use just water base, I'd like for you to spend some effort, iterating and advancing the water based inks, and so hopefully, and the technology around it, and the tools we use for water based stuff, and the mixing system, because this mixing system has its flaws. Um, it's not 100% accurate. I'm not sure that any mixing system is, but there's some on here that I've done. The recipe's awful. So, all right, red 0.76. Usually when I'm mixing, I actually, when it comes to the black, I'll usually start with half as much black because sometimes that's plenty. Almost there. This red is super thick. That's probably going to be too much. Nope, just enough. 0.75, that'll work. And then let's do the black last in case I need to add more, because I'm going to start with just half. So white 2.8. Actually, there was some black left on my white because I screwed it up. put the dumb cap on it like an idiot. So we'll go a little high. I'm actually mountain time. I'm in Colorado. So it's 10 o'clock, which still late. But it's nights and weekends. You know, this is a side gig for me. It's not my day job, so I can't print during the day. So tonight just works, and sometimes you'd rather just get it done and get it out of the way than make other nights. I think that's pretty good. I got to pull up the art proof. Maybe a little bit too much on the red. I'm gonna set this one aside. I might change that one. I might add a little bit of white to it. What am I looking for? I need new containers. Move on to the next color. I don't know what these are. They're just little pint containers, so however many ounces that is. But I love these things because, you know, when I'm mixing ink, it's usually not mixing a lot because I don't need a ton. I do have bigger containers, or I'll rinse out and save the containers that I buy the standard inks in. I love these things. I just can't find them anymore with these really good lids. So I don't know if this is what you put on Amazon, if this is what you get on Amazon, or just put the link of what whatever it is you get on Amazon. Put the link in the chat. I would appreciate that because I'm looking for more containers because Rhino doesn't carry these anymore. They've been out of stock for years. I mean, since the shutdown, COVID hit. So I thought about looking at Uline, but I just haven't pulled the trigger, and you got to buy, you know, bulk. All right, next color, Pantone 470 uncoated. What do I need? I need my clear core first. We're going to go 96.58 of that. I'm running low on clear core. I have to get some more. I'm mixing 200 grams of all these colors. Again, I don't need much. It's not a big order. I think this is going to be fine. I can always mix more if I need to. But if you're mixing inks and you end up, you know, going off the beaten path for the recipe, be sure you take notes so that you can recreate the ink if you run out or customer orders again. A little more. It's going to be a little over. Nope, good enough. Now the opaque core, 57.2. Did go over on that one. All right. Got somebody else in here. Welcome. Let's jump on Instagram and see if anybody on there wants to watch and chat. I don't know where I can put my phone. Sweet. Thank you. Appreciate that. If you're in the chat, say hi if you're not already. Let's see what is up on Instagram. Instagram, what's up? Live on YouTube, printing or mixing some water-based inks. So I thought I would jump on Instagram as well. See what's going on there. See if anybody is up. It's getting late here, but it's not East Coast late. I was just telling the chat on YouTube that it's mountain time, so it's 10 o'clock, getting ready to print an order, but I got to mix some inks first. So mixing water-based Green Galaxy inks. Yellow, we got 22.66 in this one. This one's way more yellow than the others. Running low on this container of yellow. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Getting there. All right, 22.26, 36, 59, a little over, that's okay. I'll suck a little bit back out. All right, now we got white, 15 grams. Let's get this up where I can see it over here. Got a little bit of black in there, so let's start with that and see what happens. I didn't do my red. I was like, this should not be that yellow. .54 red. What's up, Carmelo? I was starting to think this was going to be the first live that Carmelo didn't join. Good to see you, man. I'm going to just go with 6 because I feel like the last one got a little too red. B Max. What's up, man? A little friendly wave. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, 2 colors down, 3 colors down. Actually, I did one off camera. Making a video about mixing water-based ink using Green Galaxy's Fusion mixing system. I actually hang them. You could stack them. It's not a big deal. It's not as big a deal with water-based as it is with plastisol, with them, you know, sticking and still being tacky. I haven't noticed it as being as big of an issue. If you're watching on Instagram, I'm also on YouTube right now. More camera angles, you can see what's going on. So if you have YouTube and you're subscribed to the channel, hop on over there and watch it. You can actually see the mixing that I'm doing, what's going on here. But yeah, quick color, I just hang, so I don't know if you can see. Let me just pull it over here. In my other live videos where I print, you'll see me use this, but I just have a rack that I sit behind me, and I just take a hanger, slide it in the shirt, pull it off the platen all in one motion and hang it up. It works great. All right, where am I at here? Did that ink. Now I gotta do the last one. 489U. 139.38 of clear core. I run out of this clear core stuff pretty often because I mix it in my white ink, the Comet White, to thin it out a little bit. Makes it way easier to work with. And now the opaque core, 40 grams of that. Just take a big scoop. Oh, way too much. Thankfully, I can scoop it out without getting the clear core. So I could leave this in there. It's just going to make the ink a little more opaque, which is not always a bad thing. So but it's also going to thin out or fade the colors a little bit. So we'll go ahead and just take it out. $40.45. We're going to go with that. All right. What other questions for mixing water-based inks? Any? Let's hear them. Gold. I'll need gold, red, and white for this. So I've got white and red out. The yellow's pretty much gone. Gold. So the gold, we're going to do 0.22. 0.21, and I got one little drip coming there. 0.23, that'll work. Red, 0.4. T. Lopez. Carmelo, don't worry. Better late than never, right? T. Lopez, I actually, this is my side gig. So I still have a profession that is not screen printing. Most of my career, about first 20 years, was graphic designer, and that's what got me into screen printing. I was hired as the graphic designer and production manager for a screen print shop that my friends had purchased. So they hired me to do all their design and, like I said, manage the production team. So kind of fell in love with screen printing there. And then now I am a consultant for marketing automation software. So I work for a big company that puts me on accounts with, Fortune 100 companies to help them with their marketing automation platforms and to teach them or even just do the work. So I work as a consultant in my day job, remote, and I print nights and weekends and do this channel and things like that in addition to all of it. Anderson. So this is just a printout of, you're asking about this for mixing the colors. I think this is what you're asking about, where I'm getting these formulas for the colors I'm mixing. This is just a printout, and it's from the Fusion mixing system that I'm using here for Green Galaxy inks. So you see that all the pigments are, Fusion pigments. You can see here on Instagram too. And they have a website that's on the screenprinting.com website. It's attached, it's on the back end of that, or well, it uses a subdomain of that. It's probably not connected at all to the website, but the subdomain is what's directing is the address for the Fusion mixing system. But it's just fusion.screenprinting.com, and then you select uncoded, which if you're doing water-based inks, it's always the PMS uncoated rather than Pantone solid uncoated rather than Pantone solid coated. And that is different from the Pantone CMYK plus uncoated. That's what's in Illustrator. So be sure you got the right Pantone there, but you'll find that at the fusion.screenprinting.com, and that's where you get the formulas and you can just print them out. And so that's what I do. All right, quick color. Thanks for watching, man. Thanks for all the questions. All right, we got red, we got gold. We need 20 grams of white. One more drop in there. $19.99. Oh, there it goes, over 20. That's good. This one's a little bit pink. So I'm actually going to modify these a little bit. It's not necessarily the color I was wanting or hoping for. A little bit off, so I'm going to modify them a little bit, but that's okay. Nice. Well, if you're learning, I like to think you're in the right place, because that's what I love even more than printing and running a business like this, is teaching other people to do it. I would rather do that full time if I could pick anything to do. So glad to hear you're learning, and hopefully some of that's coming from me. All right, let me see here. Golden Press Studio joined on Instagram. What up, guys? Good to see those guys. Haven't seen you all in a while. I feel like there hasn't been any videos out, but I've also been super busy. I haven't put any videos out myself. Just mixing some water-based inks, getting ready to print tonight. Running live on YouTube too, but thought I would jump on Instagram for a minute. I really wish Instagram would give me access to the broadcast scenario ability or whatever it is, so that I could just broadcast live to that and YouTube, but whatever, someday. Anyways, Golden Press, good to see you guys. Hope things are going great and you guys are just so stinking busy that you can't put out content, but that's good. Good problem to have. Carmelo, you're on both of these, man. You're on Instagram and YouTube. Tonight I'm mixing these inks. I got 4 inks. It's a 4-color, but it's white underbase, so it's 5-color. It's on some pepper color comfort color shirts, the 1717 comfort colors. 2-color front, or 2-color with an underbase, so 3-color front, 4-color with an underbase, so 5-color back. And I think there's 60 shirts in all, so decent size order. I mean, I'm going to start printing tonight. I'll probably just print the fronts. It'll take me a while, or not. I mean, not forever, but it's also already 10:20, so. Yeah, I bet Golden Press says on Instagram says they've been busy. Yeah, I no doubt about that, man. Tattoo shop, video production, run new automatic. You guys are killing it. Inspiring other shops to do the same, which is awesome. Inspired me to do this stuff. I messaged you guys several times before I finally got started doing these videos, and got nothing but encouragement from you guys every time. So really appreciate that. Really pushed me over the edge, helped me get the courage to start putting this content out there and teaching people, because this is what I love to do. I love screen printing, but I love even more teaching people. So I'm glad I finally was able to work up the courage to put this stuff out there and just start. So I owe some thanks to you guys for that. So you guys encouraged me there. Appreciate it. And if there's some random long shot chance you guys over here on YouTube aren't following Golden Press already, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, go follow them, because those dudes are killing it. And they're fun to watch. Good guys. Love to meet them someday. All right, let me pull up my PDF, see what my colors look like here. So this actually is not too far off. It's sort of a pinkish. And there's one of the leaders right there, Mr. Brandon from Ryanette. It's actually pretty good. I might leave that one be. Brandon, how are you, man? I haven't talked to you in a while. I think you guys have been busy with the new press, which is awesome. I've been busy with life. We've had some family things that have needed more attention, so my attention's been there for a while, but hope to be back making more content soon. But Brandon, good to see you. Same with Golden Press. Love this community, so I love a chance to talk to everyone. That one needs a little bit of something else. Actually, Brandon, I should be telling you this stuff, man. I'm ready for Green Galaxy to further some innovation with their inks and the mixing system. There's just not been anything new in a while, and this mixing system is great, but it's not at the same time. Like the recipes are kind of hit or miss. So I would love some updates on that. Let's see. I actually saw some new chemicals come out, like the new catalyst stuff, like this warp drive, but I haven't tried them yet. I need to try those. Golden Press and Brandon, both you guys ever make it out to Denver, you be sure you let me know. Anderson over here on YouTube, no problem, man. I understand the issues there, but no problem. We can make do. Thanks for sharing. Going to try that new template using my new job. Always felt insecure to register my art, and that template could help me a lot. Yeah, I hope it does. I've put that template out there for free for anyone who wants it. So hopefully that's helping a lot of shops. I know that's probably something I could probably charge for, and I do charge for the printed version, but you know what? I just hope it helps. So yeah, Anderson, I hope it helps. All right, sorry, a little quick chat there. Burn that midnight oil. Talk soon, dude. All right, see you, Golden Press. Hi, buddy. Got my little shop dog joining me down here. Riggs, Riggs, come on. You say hi. Are you gonna weigh yourself? He's stepping on my freight scale. All right, what else? Anybody have any questions? We got 5 people watching. Any questions about mixing water-based inks? I'm gonna try and kind of manipulate a couple of these inks a little bit and see if I can get a little better shade. It's not really the shade I wanted. I think this actually could use a little bit more black. You know, the thing you got to remember with mixing this stuff, first of all, mixing water-based, like I mentioned earlier, it's Pantone solid uncoated versus with plastisol, it's solid coated. And so, you know, you got to make sure you're looking at the right Pantone swatch. But also, if you're looking on a computer and you're trying to match a color on a computer, what's on a screen is different from what's going to be printed. So there's going to be some variance there. So what's happened here is I tried to find the Pantone that most closely matched what was on the computer which is what the customer was looking at, knowing that also my computer screen is probably going to be a different color variation than my client's computer screen. There's no guarantee that those are going to be the exact same unless he's using the exact same MacBook Pro that I'm using, which I'm just noticing is running low on battery, so I'm going to have to plug in. So, you know, knowing that those could be different, you can't always find a swatch that's going to be an exact match. So sometimes you got to, you know, get something close, which is what I've done here. Find a swatch that matched it close enough, and then make some tweaks and adjustments after the fact to try and get it a little closer, which is why I'm looking at the screen to determine what I need to add. Now, black is extremely potent, so it will really change things quickly. So I'm just going to do a little dot. And that was a nice subtle change there, which is exactly what I was hoping for. I'm still going to need a little bit more red though. Okay. See, that black really skewed it right there. Probably too much. I might have messed it up. It's getting better. Let's get back to the questions and see if anybody... Yeah. I mean, how do I figure out how to adjust after I've already started mixing? Really, it's just experience and practice. Getting used to, you know, what pigments are going to make what changes. Some of that also just comes from the fact of being a graphic designer for so long, and being able to see color changes, you know, being able to look at a photograph and see that, you know, it's kind of skewed towards red, and you know, knowing that, you know, if you want something a little more of a certain hue, it's not necessarily obvious that you just add red. Sometimes it's, you know, adding something like a black to get it deeper of the red that's there. I don't know. It's just experience, so it's not really something that you can, that I could teach you, unfortunately. But I think that's that's actually close to that other one. All the colors in this job are actually pretty close to each other. So they're just like different, various hues of the same kind of brick red. Yeah, that's looking really good. I think I can show you guys what I'm looking at here. Yeah, so see these colors? This is the design, and so these are the different colors that I'm looking for. So this one in particular is the dark color. Obviously not going to be able to tell on screen, but How do you position the screens? So kind of hard to explain on video or like just talking, but essentially, you're going to have the registration and stuff, but you need to have center lines on your platen. So if you have a center line, then you line that center line up with a registration mark that's on your print or on your film, which is then burned onto your screen. So you line that center mark on the top and bottom to make sure that that screen is nice and centered on the platen. A lot of people will take the film from an order, the artwork that they're printing from, and will use that film to um, um, line up the screen to the actual print itself on the platen. And some people will just, like I have, I've got that registration template that's available, but I also have this thing that I use sometimes where it's almost the same thing, but it's smaller and it's on like a flimsy, this is like a plastic that it's printed on. And I will stick this down to the platen and register to it. So I'm printing a left chest today, so I probably will use this just because it kind of simplifies things. But all in all, it just takes practice too. All right, so that's a darker one. This one needs a little black as well. And that one too. Gotta add some red and white back to that one. That was a little too much black. Now, one thing to keep in mind, you don't want to do too much of the pigment to where it's too much pigment and not enough of the clear core and opaque core. You need those bases in the inks, but it's okay to kind of add a little, these little after touch amounts. Nobody's joining Instagram, so I'm gonna be done with that. And that's pretty darn close right there. So in that one, the colors that the recipe had were white, red, and black, and yellow. I added a little too much black, so I threw in a little extra white and red, and that kind of reversed the black. Worked out. So you just kind of have to get a feel for what affects what. All right, so I have the dark one. This light one is the last one that I need to modify. A little heavy on the black on this one too, but not too much. Let's add a little bit of red back. This red is so thick. Just a touch of white. Actually need a little more white. All right, I got my colors. They don't, they're kind of ugly colors by themselves, but all together, hopefully it'll be what the customer wants, or it is what they wanted. All right. I'm going to hop off and switch gears here and I'm going to take the dog out and I'm going to get set up to print. And then I'm going to jump back on. So I'll have another live later on. Thanks for the help. Work on a automatic machines. In this shot, we don't need to do registrations. Yeah, it is hard without registration marks. Well, glad my tips have helped. Hopefully I will have more helpful ones. So the three of you watching now, hopefully be more later. They're watching print. I'm actually gonna do some printing, but I'm gonna hop off. I'll end this live. I'm gonna do another live later on, either while I'm setting up or once I'm set up, and we'll print these fronts of these shirts. See how fast they go. I might print the backs if they go pretty quickly. But if you're not doing anything tonight, you wanna stay up with me, you're welcome to join. So I'll be back on later. Carmelo, feel free to let Ryan know that. All right. Catch you guys soon if you plan on jumping back on, and we're going to actually do some printing.